Hey chicas and chicos, welcome back to CreativeMeTV. If you're new here, my name is Marianne. I'm a graphic designer working full-time in New York City. I make videos about design, fashion, and all things creative. In today's episode, I'll be going over the top logo redesigns of 2017. With 2018 quickly approaching, I thought it would be interesting to look back on some of the biggest brand changes and see which design trends we discovered this year. So let's get right into it. Calvin Klein. Now I may be a little biased here because it's my favorite clothing brand at the moment, but I think this brand redesign was an improvement. Back in February, Calvin Klein revealed a new all-caps logo with a skinny sans serif font. I think it's more polished and clean, and it just goes to show that changing a word mark to all caps from all lowercase letters can drastically change the look and feel of the brand. The kerning is better, it feels more condensed and put together, although I do miss the quirkiness of having those little dotted I's. Designer Peter Savell said, "I changed the original Calvin Klein lettering from lower and uppercase to uppercase. It became capitals. It's evolved from the subjective to the objective, but it still looks like Calvin Klein." And my final review, 4 stars. I'll chill in my Calvins. In November, Chobani introduced a new logo rebranding. From its uppercase geometric sans serif font to this thick, curved upper and lowercase font. I personally think this may be one of my favorite logo redesigns this year because the new typeface really goes with the brand very well. Its playfulness and roundness is friendly and approachable and really reminds me of the look and feel of yogurt. The old word mark felt very harsh and heavily contrasted to the smooth, creamy texture of the product. The new word mark manages to capture that essence of the product in a rich, smooth, and chunky serif. The jump from black to this organic green color was surprising, but it works very well in the packaging. Just take a look at all of their promotional materials. I mean, it just feels consistent, and the addition of illustrations just gives it a fun, quirky vibe without being too over the top. And my review, 5 stars. I'd take you home and put you in my fridge, and later in my belly. Back in August, Tinder decided to pull a Nike essentially and ditch its word mark. They introduced a new flame-only logo. Because Tinder is now one of the go-to apps for dating, I can understand why they decided to let the icon itself do all the brand's heavy lifting. But this rebranding wasn't a drastic design change. They did tweak the shape of the flame, which is now a bit rounder at the bottom and pointier at the top. And they also added a gradient, which was a big design trend this year. The colors are a more bright orangey red to really symbolize fire. Overall, it's a crisp execution of an icon, which tends to work for app-based businesses. Final review, 4 stars, I'd swipe right. Back in October, the Dropbox design team said, "Our old logo was a blue box that implied Dropbox is a great place to store stuff. The new one is cleaner and simpler. And we've evolved it from a literal box to a collection of surfaces to show that Dropbox is an open platform and a place for creation." And they did just that. They made their iconic box shape simpler. They said they wanted their icon to look more like surfaces, I guess like pieces of paper. But let's be honest, it still looks like a box. The blue is now brighter, the word mark is now black, the typeface looks different, it's wider and rounded. They also introduced these new color combinations. To me, it just seems very random and busy. It doesn't really feel like a very cohesive or connected color palette. The color combinations do seem a bit weird and out of place to me. This new aesthetic with photography, I don't really love it. It just reminds me of 80s, 90s MTV branding. I have to say I do miss the old branding. There was something very clean about the minimal white and blue color scheme, the sense of simplicity with the product, the playful illustrations that really showed off their personality. I'll give Dropbox 3 stars. It's interesting that they're trying to improve and do something really different, but I think it was thinking a little too outside the box. This year, YouTube changed its logo for the first time in over a decade. Now let that sink in. Over 10 years. That's a long time. With the constantly evolving UI design, it was clear to see why they felt the need to make a big change. The biggest being emphasizing its iconic play button from the background of the word tube to the left side of the word mark. Now I get why they wanted to do this. The play button is now the center of attention, the word tube doesn't feel like an old television set with that red background. Removing the red TV shape allows it to be read as YouTube instead of YouTube. The separation of words did always seem oddly out of place to me. The new typeface is now less condensed and more clean, certainly more round. They improved the little shapes of the old letters. That kerning between the U and the T just feels more comfortable now. So it's definitely easier to read now. The UI at a quick glance looks cool, I guess. Maybe a little too busy in some places, and I'm not sure about the readability in the dark version, but it does tie the brand together. Overall, I would say it's an improvement, a step in the future for sure. The logo looks more mature and less whimsical, which I guess is what they're going for.
In my review, 3.5 stars. I'd subscribe.
Recap. What we learned about Logo Redesigns in 2017. 1. Changing your word's word mark from all lowercase to all uppercase, or vice versa, can drastically change the look and feel of your brand. 2. Don't be afraid to get thick. 3. Icons can help visualize your brand. 4. Less is more. It's okay to stick with 1 or 2 colors. 5. Try shifting the placement of elements in your logo.
And that's it for today's episode. What did you think about these logo redesigns? Were there some that were your favorites that I didn't mention in this video? Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see what 2018 has in store for us. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye guys!